You clicked on this video because the title and the question, why do you postpone yourself, called out to you in some way. In my opinion, it is at the root cause of all of our issues, both physical and mental, is our continual denial of our nature. And whether you, on the surface, agree with the idea of a fate or a divine plan or nature or being born for a specific reason, internally and intrinsically and intuitively, you do agree, because the question spoke to you. Why do you postpone yourself? The question implies you're putting off becoming who you were supposed to. Somewhere deep down you know that you are, to some degree, resisting or ignoring that version of yourself or becoming that version of yourself. Many people medicate or sedate that dissonance, that feeling that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not becoming who I'm supposed to be becoming, with things like a salary, things like drinking and partying on the weekends, drugs, relationships, attention, likes on social media. We're very creative at numbing away that voice that calls out from inside of us, begging us to become who we were meant to. In my opinion, we can only deny our nature, we can only deny our destiny for so long. They say that hell is when the person you are meets the person you were supposed to become. In my opinion, there are these questions on the cosmic ledger that must be answered at some point. Chief among them is, who was I supposed to be? Who was I supposed to become? Unfortunately, as we know from the regrets of the dying, many people realize that all too late. They come to reckon with, to reconcile those questions. And unfortunately, regret is a most nefarious fate because there is no longer anything you can do about it. You're sitting on your proverbial deathbed looking back on the life you could have lived, all the decisions you wish you had made, and the control is no longer in your hands. If you're watching this video, you're likely a young person, somewhere between 20, 30, maybe 40. It doesn't matter. If you've recognized this gap between who you are and who you are meant to be, or who you are meant to become, the awareness is the most important part. You've reached the place where you now know, you recognize, and you're admitting to yourself there's a delta, there's a gap between where I am and where I can or should be. So I'd pose the same question from Seneca: why do you postpone yourself? Why do you continue to push off who you're supposed to become? Because the longer you put it off, the longer you postpone yourself, the less time you will have to become that person. And additionally, I think the longer you live at dissonance and you resist that internal knowing and that internal feeling, the more trouble will arise in your life. It might come in the form of self-sabotage in relationships, substance dependency, even the manifestation of physical disease. I think at the root of it all is a disconnection from yourself, who you were supposed to become. So once you reach that place of awareness, do not put off till tomorrow what could be done today. Ask yourself, what is one thing today that the version of me tomorrow would be happy that I did? Is it going on an additional walk? Is it finally sitting down without any inputs and asking yourself some hard questions in a journaling exercise? Is it sitting still for 30 minutes? Is it having a hard conversation with a loved one? Is it exploring the severance package at your job because you've been there for long enough and you know it's not serving you? Do something today that tomorrow you would be proud to look back on. And that's how you become who you're supposed to. One day at a time, you take actions in the faith and goodwill of tomorrow's version of you. Then you will look back at a life well lived, a life without regret, and you will have not postponed who you were supposed to become. I hope this was helpful. Comment below what you thought, what you want to hear me talk about. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.